Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're taking a closer look at a housing trend that's making waves right here in Broward County, Florida. Homes with separate living quarters. Yeah, we're not talking about those old school in-law suites. This is something entirely different and way more flexible for how families live today. We'll be drawing insights from an article by local real estate expert Antonio Ortega.
It's really interesting to see how this trend is basically changing how we view family and living spaces these days. It's not all about the traditional nuclear family all under one roof anymore. It's more about designing homes that can handle multi-generational living, adult kids moving back home, and even just needing some personal space in our super busy
It's
lives.
like architecture's finally catching up with how we actually live. But before we go too far, can we break down what we mean by separate living quarters for our listeners?
Okay, so picture this. A completely self-contained living area, either attached to the main house or totally detached. We're talking a bedroom, a bathroom, maybe a kitchenette, sometimes even a full kitchen. It's a space that gives you privacy and independence, but it's still on the same property.
So it's like having a guest suite built in, but with way more potential.
Exactly. And that's a big reason why these types of homes are so hot in Broward County right now. It's not just about having a place for aging parents anymore. We're seeing families use these spaces for their grown kids who move back in, for caregivers who live with them, or even to make some extra cash by renting it out.
Speaking of income, that adds a whole other dimension to this trend. Being able to rent out those separate quarters could be a huge game changer for families.
Definitely. It could help cover the mortgage, create a passive income stream, or even give adult kids a way to save up for their own place.
It's almost like having an investment property right there on your land. But I'm curious, what are the most common ways these separate quarters are set up? Is it always a separate building, or are there other options?
There's actually a ton of variety. You might see a detached guest house in the backyard, a garage or basement that's been converted, or even an attached apartment with its own entrance. The main thing is that it feels separate and independent from the main living areas of the house.
So it's about that balance between connection and privacy, which a lot of families are trying to figure out these days.
Exactly right. And that's where someone like Antonio Ortega can really help. He gets the ins and outs of these properties and the different needs of the families looking for them.
I think that's the perfect segue to discuss why these homes are particularly beneficial in Broward County.
Absolutely. This isn't just happening nationwide. It's booming in Broward County for specific reasons. We're talking about a place known for sunshine, diverse communities, and a family-friendly vibe.
And with housing costs soaring in so many parts of the country, having a separate living space that can bring in some income or a house extended family is super appealing.
For sure. And Broward County is seeing a wave of new residents, from retirees to young professionals to families wanting a more balanced lifestyle. So the demand for homes with these separate living spaces is only going to keep rising.
It really does sound like the ideal mix of demographic trends and lifestyle preferences all happening in this sunny spot. But let's dig deeper into those benefits. What are some of the advantages that really stand out to you?
Well, for starters, there's the obvious plus of multi-generational living. More and more families are opting to live together, whether it's to take care of older parents, support their young adult kids, or just enjoy the benefits of sharing resources and spending time together.
And having that separate living space makes it possible to be close without sacrificing everyone's privacy and independence.
Right. It can reduce the stress that sometimes comes with multi-generational living, letting everyone have their own space while still being near enough to support and connect with each other.
It's like the best of both worlds, family closeness and personal freedom.
And
That's not
that's
even mentioning the financial perks.
Oh, yeah, the financial benefits are nothing to sneeze at. We talked about rental income, but it's bigger than that. Think about property taxes. Sometimes owning one big property is better than owning two separate ones. And you can't forget about sharing utilities and expenses. That's more potential savings right there.
It's like economies of scale, but for families. It makes you wonder why this didn't catch on sooner.
It is interesting, right? For so long, everyone thought the ideal was a single-family home with everyone going their own way. But things are shifting in society, like the cost of housing going up and people putting more value on family support. Those ideals are changing.
And those societal shifts are happening in a very real way in Broward County. We were just about to talk about some of the communities where these homes are really popular. What makes Broward County such a good fit for this trend?
Well, Broward County has always been attractive for its weather and lifestyle, but there's more to it. It's a diverse county with a mix of urban and suburban areas, which means there's a lot of different options for these types of homes.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all situation. You could have a modern condo with a separate suite in Fort Lauderdale, or a big ranch with a guest house in Davie. It's about finding what works best for your family's needs and what they like.
Exactly. And each community in Broward County has its own unique feel, which adds to the possibilities. Take Weston, for instance. It's known for its great schools, family-friendly atmosphere, and spacious homes, often with big lots that can easily accommodate a separate living space.
Sounds like a perfect fit for families with kids who want to be part of a community and have room to grow. What about people who want a more relaxed rural feel? Where would they look?
Davie could be the place for them. It still has some of that old Florida charm, with equestrian properties and a slower pace of life. You're more likely to find homes with detached guest houses in Davie, giving you that extra privacy and peace and quiet.
That's lovely. And then there's Pembroke Pines, which seems to balance affordability with a touch of luxury. What makes it stand out in this market?
Pembroke Pines is interesting because it has a wider range of prices compared to some other communities. You could find starter homes, more established neighborhoods, and even luxury properties, all with the potential for separate living quarters.
So there's something for everyone in Pembroke Pines, regardless of budget or stage of life.
Right, and its central location in Broward County makes it easy to get to different parts of the area.
And we can't forget about Fort Lauderdale, Broward County's crown jewel. What's the appeal there for those looking for homes with separate living spaces?
Fort Lauderdale has this unique mix of urban energy and suburban peacefulness. You can find high-rise condos with amazing ocean views that also have separate guest suites. Or you can go to quieter neighborhoods with charming historic homes that have been updated to include modern in-law apartments.
It's like having a little bit of everything, the beach, the nightlife, the cultural attractions, and still having that quiet retreat within your own home.
Exactly. And Fort Lauderdale's diverse population means there's a strong market for these types of homes. Families from all backgrounds are looking for flexible living arrangements.
It's clear that Broward County is a prime spot for this trend, with each community offering its own unique advantages. But no matter where you choose to live, the key is finding a real estate professional who really understands this market.
That's where someone like Antonio Ortega really excels. He specializes in helping families navigate this specific part of the Broward County real estate market. He doesn't just sell houses, he helps families find homes that match their lifestyle and their dreams.
And with his special offer of putting 10% of his fee towards closing costs, he's making those dreams even more achievable. Whether you're buying or selling, that's a big saving that can really make a difference.
It shows how dedicated he is to helping families reach their homeownership goals and how much he believes in these homes with separate living quarters.
If this trend has caught your attention and you're thinking about making Broward County your home, Antonio Ortega is the person you want on your side. You can check out his services and look at listings on his website, AntonioOrtegaLLC.com.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to explore this trend and the possibilities in Broward County. As we move into the final part of our deep dive, I want to bring the focus back to you, our listener. What are your thoughts on this trend?
We've talked about the practical benefits, the financial advantages, and what makes Broward County so special. But what are your personal feelings about multi-generational living or having that extra space for flexibility?
Do you think it's a solution to the challenges families face today, or does it make you think about privacy and boundaries? We'd love to hear your perspective as we wrap up this exploration.
You know, it's amazing to think about how these homes aren't just changing how Broward County looks. They're also changing how we think about family and community as a whole.
I totally agree. It's like moving away from that isolated nuclear family idea and towards a more connected way of living, where different generations can actually support each other and make each other's lives richer.
It's like we're rediscovering that it takes a village idea, but in a way that respects our own homes and privacy.
Exactly. And this shift toward multi-generational living and more flexible housing isn't just a trend. It's a real response to some serious challenges that families face today.
Challenges like the rising cost of housing, people living longer, and needing more flexible work-life situations.
Precisely. These homes give families a practical solution to these challenges. They can pool their resources, share responsibilities, and build a support system that works for everyone.
But it's not just about practicality, is it? There's also this deeper human need for connection and belonging that these homes can meet.
Absolutely. In a world that's so focused on individual success and moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, these homes offer a sense of stability and being grounded. They help us stay connected to our families and communities.
It's like creating a space where people can be themselves and be together at the same time. Which brings us to the future. How do you see this trend changing in the years to come? What kinds of innovations or shifts might we see in how these homes are designed and used?
That's a great question. I think we'll see even more creative ways of using space, with architects and builders coming up with flexible designs that can change as families' needs change.
Like walls that move or rooms that can be a home office one day and a guest room the next.
Exactly. And we might see more focus on universal design principles, making homes comfortable and accessible for people of all ages and abilities.
Yeah. So truly inclusive spaces that work for all kinds of modern families.
Mhm.
What about technology? How do you think that will shape these homes in the future?
Oh, technology is going to be huge. We might see smart home features that let people monitor and control different parts of the living spaces. This would make things safer and easier for elderly residents or people with mobility challenges.
I can imagine a future where these homes are seamlessly connected to telehealth services, remote work setups, and even assistive technologies, all making life easier and better for everyone.
It's an exciting possibility that could completely change how we think about aging in place and creating homes that support all generations.
It's clear that this trend goes way beyond just adding a bedroom or a guest suite. It's about redefining what home means in a world that's always changing.
And for anyone in Broward County considering this path, remember Antonio Ortega LLC is a fantastic resource. You can find more information about his unique closing cost offer and his expertise on his website, AntonioOrtegaLLC.com.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into a trend that's changing not just houses, but how we view family, community, and the meaning of home. Thanks for joining us.